Boys and girls, Alex here. A few days ago I had to make some 20mm dowels to fit into these dog holds on this recently, or the MFT style mini workbench I'm working on. So I dragged out my Veritas Dowel maker, packed in this beautiful Veritas sustainer, and made the dowel. However, look, I'm not going to worry about the dowel. I'll put that aside, maybe another video. However, I wasn't impressed with the durability of the Veritas sustainer, so it needed a new box. In the past, I used to make most of my boxes out of pine. Started off with, as you can see, this was beautifully dovetailed, or a lot of them are finger jointed. Just a loose lid to hold all my 3D printed gadgets and jigs that I use in the workshop. I didn't like the thought of just that loose fitting lid, so I started working on box types. I come up with this sort of like a friction fit lid. Still loose fitting in a way, but it's friction fit. Wasn't happy with that. Come up with this design where I had bolts that I could screw in both sides to take the lid off. I initially started with dowels, but the dowels would fall out. At least with the bolts it had a thread to hold them in. Oh well, that was okay, but I still wasn't happy. Progressed on to sliding lids. Nice touch, but sliding lid, big deal. Still didn't captivate the lid too well. Moved to another type of sliding lid where I actually started using hardware to hold the lid on. Bear in mind, when I was making these boxes, I wasn't a avid internet surfer, didn't look at too many woodworking forums, so I was short of ideas, and I don't read woodworking magazines. Short of ideas, and but anyway, I came up with that. Still wasn't happy. But the only thing is, I just got sick and tired of making, well, reasonable solid boxes out of, although it's only pine, to hide away in a drawer and never to be seen again. For big big tools, I still, like here we are, I'll grab this, I still make decent boxes, as you can see here. Hang on, let's see whether you can see it or not. Yeah, laser engraved, dovetailed, reasonable hardware to hold it on. This is just designed to hold my router stuff. But this box, hey, it's just a simple box. I thought, oh well, that's what I wanted. So, sorry, not this box, but then I graduated to, rather than those type of boxes, solid boxes, I graduated to laser cut MDF. Oh, bit of sawdust there. I've come up with this sort of my novel idea of locking, whereby this arm swings down onto a pin on both sides. You lift it up, take the lid off, and to put it back on. I also got quite hooked on this, I'll bring it over here. It's called a Pinewood font. I personally like it. Normally for text I like Old English, but for a lot of these woodworking stuff I like that. So anyway, as I say, I've basically adopted for these boxes more like a you could say big finger joints. Like, you know, there's only usually 2 fingers on that, or 3, well 5 if you look at it that way, rather than your many fingers. The simple reason was that I didn't particularly want to go and dab glue there. Here I grabbed a tube of super glue, zip, 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 and the glue's there. So it was just pure laziness. However, I still wanted to improve the locking mechanism. So when it came to this jig, and we're not going to go through how I built it, I'll describe the features of the box, but I'll show you, well, describe the features of the box. I come up with this little beauty. Difference between this and the other, well, first of all, I've come up with this locking mechanism, which I'll go into later. I've still got the finger joint. However, on the bottom I've actually used a mortise and tenon type of a construction rather than just glue it to the bottom like I have with the sides, only because this has got quite a bit of weight behind it and I don't particularly want the bottom to fall out like it has actually done on one of my other boxes, although the bottom falling out was helped by me dropping the bloody thing. Anyway, I've used the same pine wood font on there, engraved the silhouette of the jig. There you go, looks just like it practically. And I could have laid it out better. Doesn't matter really, because it's just going to be put away in a with the other boxes and you won't see it anyway. But the difference is I've come up with this little swing lock. There's about a mil, just about a mil, or not even a mil, dowel poking out there that you can then grab hold of and swing left or right, so it's ambidextrous, but in the down position the lid is locked. Bring it all the way to the left, all the way to the right, the lid can be opened. The way it works is that's on a pivot there, and through SketchUp I worked out the arc of how far it's got to swing this way when that little lever is flush with the lid on both sides. And when it's down vertical, when it's vertical, it's actually protrudes by 3 mil, which is the thickness of this, and that length of that slot allows for the swing. And another little piece of it, I have not flocked it, I put some felt, it was a adhesive backed felt in there which I cut out with the laser. Cuts it beautifully, that's why it's so well shaped. When I made this base, or drew up the base for it in SketchUp, I forgot about this little doobie coming out. I just thought it was sitting on that, and I cut out about 2 or 3 of these base plates or these profiles and couldn't figure out why the bloody thing wouldn't sit in there. Then I actually flipped it over, had a look. Up until then I hadn't flipped it over, and noticed that, incorporated it, and it fits. So what you do is you'll find that the lid itself has the orientation of the jig, although there's only one way it'll fit into that profile, so, but still fit it into there. It sits in that snug, right, moves, it has about a mil and a half movement, but that's not an issue. Drop that down to the side. Oh, the way this works is it's 3 layers of 3 mil MDF. The face plate, which has that slot, the back plate only has that dowel, pivots for the dowel, and the middle plate has the sides there, and whatever, and sort of all that cut out to allow this arm to swing. So it's just a simple case of sliding in the lid, pushing that down. You've now got a lid that won't come down. And not only that, it's low profile it hasn't got these big arms swinging out like this has. Not that that matters, because that's only about 3 mil for the arm, and what, an extra 1 mil, 1.5 mil for the dowel poking out on both sides. However, the thing I like about this is virtually dead, I can't say square, rectangle, flat rectangle, except for the lid and the base that's intended, so it's not perfectly flat, as I said. But all you've got is really about 1 mil of this dowel poking out, which is not going to be too obtrusive. Now, for this I have used my SketchUp to naturally design it, and I've used a laser cut MDF, 3mm and 6mm MDF. This mortise and tenon there is really just to hold the runners in place. And I did make the mistake, I didn't put the bottom support on, so the lid would have fallen down, but fortunately it wasn't hard to do. I've just glued it on. Normally I would have put alignment dowels in, but I didn't. It was an afterthought. And not only that, it was quite easy to put on there, flush against the lid, and once the lid got sanded, that gave it sufficient clearance. It has been, hang on, let's lock it, we don't want the thing falling out. It has been buffed using the Bill buffing system of Triple E, White Diamond and Canuba wax. It's a shame you can't actually see it. This box has been tongue-oiled, which I normally don't do. I don't know whether this one has been or not. No, I don't think that this one has as well. But normally I don't tongue oil them, but I did this one, and then I just buffed it, and it does give it a nice little shine, and it gives it a good protective coating. But that's it, boys and girls. It was just more a case of letting you know, if you happen to have a laser, easy done, CNC, easy done. And if you haven't, if you want to do it in solids, it's an adventurous way of trying to do a locking mechanism for a box. Uru, and keep safe. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why, as I say, I don't want to go for fancy boxes, this is where it's going to finish up residing anyway, down there with all the other boxes where half of these came from anyway. So I don't think it'll be out on the bench looking pretty for anyone to admire. Alright, boys and girls, catch you later, keep safe.